Hi and welcome back to the channel. If you can hear rain outside, that's because there's rain outside. It was hot a couple of days ago, and today it was hot, and now it's raining. So summer has hit Melbourne, and that means two things. People born here whinge about summer, and you start looking to buy movies, because that's pretty much what I do the rest of the year as well. So today's going to be a haul video with one extra thing, which isn't quite a movie but is very much pop culture related. I've got a few things that have been trickling in from Zavi.com, and I've also ventured out into JB Hi-Fi, which are my two main drugs of choice at the moment. And so I'm going to do a little bit of a movie haul about the movies I've acquired in December. Now, this is probably not going to be the last lot of movies I acquire in December, but I'll roll those into January. Tell me if you like this kind of video too, because I want to find out whether people like movie haul videos or whether they want me to just talk about obscure European movie genres. So anyway, we probably should get started with it. Let's have a look. First one, bit of an obscurity from a very well-known actor, Michael Caine. And he did some interesting movies in the 1960s. Of course, he did the Harry Palmer trilogy, about which I've spoken before. And he did 3 caper films. He did Gambit with Shirley MacLaine, which was a comedy. He did The Italian Job, of course, which was a comedy. And he did a serious one about which people don't know a lot and don't remember. And that is Deadfall. It also stars Giovanna Rowley and Eric Portman. And it's a little bit of a, it's almost like a neo, well, not quite neo, but a kind of mid-noir film in some ways. It's a caper film as well, because Michael Caine plays a cat burglar who is gets involved with an older man played by Eric Portman and his wife played by Giovanna Rowley. And they together plot and plan some capers. But it's more of a character study as well. He falls in love with a younger woman who's got the older husband, and they have some secrets of their own. It's got a very dark kind of feel about it. And it's also got a really good soundtrack by John Barry, with a title song sung by Shirley Bassey, which I like a lot. And there's also an interesting thing that the director-writer Brian Forbes, who used to be an actor, did in the movie, where he cross-cuts between a caper that Michael Caine's character and Eric Portman's character are carrying out, and a concert of orchestral music conducted by John Barry. And you see him in there in the kind of tuxedo and the evening suit and conducting the orchestra. There's also some very good Spanish guitar in that part, and they cross-cut between the two really interestingly. A lot of people at the time didn't like that part of it, but for me it really works. And this one is a very much of Michael Caine obscurity, but it is one that's worth checking out. I don't think it's a perfect film. I think that there are some structural problems with the script that prevent it from being better regarded than it is. But if you're a Michael Caine fan, and if in particular you like 1960s caper films, and also if you're LGBTQIA in any way and you like to see representation, there's a little bit of that in here as well. I really should do a podcast about this movie at some stage, because it's got some quite interesting queer subtext, which is makes it a little bit of a forerunner in some ways. So that's the first one that I got, and I've actually seen it again, and I liked it. I didn't like it as much as I like, say, The Italian Job. I liked it more than I like Gambit with Michael Caine and Shirley MacLaine. I've got no chemistry at all. But I don't. It's kind of in the middle there, but it's not a perfect film. Let's see what else I've got here. One of my other Zavi acquisitions is a film which was the only theatrical release by Universal Studios in the year it came out, in 1971. And it's the only theatrical movie ever produced by one of TV's biggest producers of the 60s and 70s, Quinn Martin.
A Quinn Martin production.
And it is The Mephisto Waltz, which has got a really nice cast in it. It's got Alan Alda, Jacqueline Bisset, It has Barbara Parkins and Kurt Jürgens. It's a supernatural thriller. It's a little bit in the flavour of, kind of, sort of, Rosemary's Baby. It's in that kind of supernatural occult oeuvre. Alan Alda plays a guy who used to play the piano but has given it up to write hack journalism. And he interviews the most famous pianist in the world, played by Kurt Jürgens, and gets involved in their lives and in some very interesting supernatural stuff. But as the movie progresses, you find out that the protagonist isn't him, but it's his wife, played by Jacqueline Bisset. Again, the script's got some structural problems, but the Mephisto waltz is kind of interesting and has some very TV-like aspects to it as well. The director, Paul Wenkost, was known mostly for doing TV work, and of course Quinn Martin was a TV producer, but they do go further than American TV did at the time. Alan Alda's kind of okay in it. I don't think it's his best role in anything. You can kind of see the smart-ass wordplay that he made famous doing MASH a few years later. But the Mephisto waltz, I'd never actually seen all of it. I've seen clips of it at various times, but I hadn't seen all of it. And it kind of works, but in some ways it's dated. It's got a very kind of early 1970s look about it, and it's a little bit self-conscious as well in some ways. But if you're interested in this kind of stuff and you don't want to keep rewatching Exorcist and The Omen and Rosemary's Baby, you probably need a copy of the Mephisto waltz. It's a kind of soft recommend for me, and I think that if you watch it, you'd be interested in what it's got to give. Zavi also threw some bait in the water for me by putting buy two get one free, I think it was, deal for Criterion Collection Blu-rays. Now, if you don't know, Criterion have the best releases out there. There are tons and tons of really detailed extras on the discs. Usually you get a booklet as well with an essay about the movie itself. And for people who collect Blu-rays in particular, Criterion Blu-ray releases appreciate in value. And if you have a look on eBay for anything in the Criterion collection, you're going to see that people are paying way over the odds on these particular movies. So I picked up 3 of them, one of which I haven't seen, and the other 2 I haven't seen for a fair while. The first one is Michelangelo Antonioni's Loveventura, starring Gabriele Fazzetti and Monica Vitti. I know a little bit about this. It's about a missing woman and 2 people who go looking for her on an island. And that's about all I know, and that's all I care to know about it. I'm going to go in this one cold. I'm going to hopefully enjoy it. And some people have said it's great, some people have said it's shit. And I'm going to decide for myself, which is what everybody should do. Yeah, take my advice on movies, please. If it's helpful to you, take my advice. But don't let me dissuade you from watching a movie because I didn't particularly care for it. Everybody's got different tastes. And there are people who love Loveventura. There are people who hate it. So I'm going to give it a go and just enjoy the experience of learning about this film, because I'm trying to fill the gaps in my knowledge of classic cinema. And when an opportunity comes up like this, I usually grab it, and for the most part I find it very rewarding. Sometimes, yeah, it doesn't work for me, but I'd say I'm running like 70% of the classic films that I haven't seen before for whatever reason, and I dive into, I enjoy. And with those kind of odds, I'm definitely going to give this one a go. And I'll let you know how it goes in a future vlog. So, I'll leave this one for last. The next one is from a guy who worked for Spielberg, and most people only know him for one small role he played in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's Francois Truffaut, and it is Day for Night, his movie about making movies, which I haven't seen for maybe 20 years. I think I saw it on VHS back in the day, but I kind of like Truffaut, but I don't like him as much as I like some other French New Wave directors. I like Jacques Demy a lot more. I like Chabrol. I like Clouzot. But I'm kind of warming slightly to Truffaut, so I'm going to dive in and watch Day for Night again at some stage, maybe over the break. I'm going away for a little bit, but when I get back I may well just sit down and maybe do a day of classic cinema. Maybe that's a wise thing to do. Maybe just sit down and make some good single origin coffee and get some quality snacks that aren't too unhealthy and just have a day of classic cinema. I think that this one's definitely going to be on that. And I'll see whether I enjoy it or not. I enjoyed it the first time around, but I was kind of less knowledgeable about movies then than I am now. And the more you know about movies, the more you get out of them. It gives back to you all those days and hours of sitting in dark rooms watching stuff. Ultimately, it'll reward you by going, oh yeah, this is a new kind of movie for me, but I enjoyed it a lot. So, day for night, going to try that out. And then, I may well do this on the same day. The third of the Criterion Collection discs I got over the last few days. No, I haven't got them yet. In the last few days is a classic. The second last film, I think it was the second last, directed by Orson Welles. And it is a magic trick, a con job, a documentary that isn't exactly a documentary. And it's Orson Welles at his most playful in F for Fake. It also features his muse and partner of his later years, Oya Kodai, who you might have seen in The Other Side of the Wind that Netflix put together and released this year or last year. Last year, I think it was. If you haven't seen The Other Side of the Wind, check it out on Netflix. It's Welles' last movie. It was never quite completed. Everything was shot, but it wasn't assembled. And it wasn't released in any way. And Netflix gave the people involved the money to do it, and it's a classic. I was incredibly impressed with it. I was impressed with Welles' creativity and the audacity of a lot of the things he did. And F for Fake is Orson Welles playing, and Playful Welles is also Fun Welles. So I'm not going to tell you too much because there are a couple of twists and turns and there are a couple of tricks in the movie that are played on the audience. But you should really check that one out. It is a high recommend from me. I'm also a fan of grindhouse cinema. My education in cinema was in places that only show B pictures and exploitation pictures. So when I say I'm backfilling on the classic movies, it's because I spent my time watching grindhouse films, action cinema, exploitation movies, blaxploitation movies, sexploitation movies in some cases. And this is definitely an exploitation movie. Starring Etsuko Shinomi, it is the Sister Street Fighter collection. The two Sister Street Fighter movies that kind of carried on from Sonny Chiba's Street Fighter trilogy, which if you haven't seen, you should. It's Japanese action cinema from the 1970s. And I haven't seen these ones since I did have them on VHS before I got rid of my VHS collection. And I really recommend these. They're fun. You've kind of got to get into that 1970s action cinema mindset. The nice thing is that they do have some new English subtitles, so you can watch the dub version if you like, but I don't recommend that. Or else you can watch the original Japanese audio with English subtitles that have been updated and probably tuned a little bit. So that's going to be an exploitation movie double feature for me. Again, I recommend it. I like these movies. I like the Street Fighter movies with Sonny Chiba, and he guests in, I think, the first of the two Sister Street Fighter movies. And you should check it out because they are a lot of fun. And if you want to kind of backfill your knowledge of non-English speaking exploitation cinema of the 1970s, you really should try these out. So then we move on to a couple of movies I acquired today. Because we went to the shops, we went to the place where everybody gets movies and DVDs from in Australia. The big yellow building, JB Hi-Fi. And the first one I got, I've spoken about on the channel before, but I'm going to watch it with the subtitles this time. And me saying that, you'll probably guess what it is. Tenet, Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Which I'm looking forward to re-watching. I am going to watch it with the subtitles because, as I said before, the audio mix is shit. And I think that they should have something on the menu going. English language with English subtitles because Christopher Nolan is a prick. I don't know if they changed the audio mix in this. If they do, I'll turn off the subtitles. But I really think that Christopher Nolan's audio mix in the movie is the one weakness in it. It's science fiction, it's high concept, it's beautifully executed, and John David Washington I like a lot in this. I also like Robert Pattinson in it. and even Michael Caine gets one scene in it, so that relates to Deadfall, about which I spoke earlier. But yeah, I'm going to rewatch that one soon and just go with it and see whether I like it as much as I liked it when I saw it in the cinema. So there's that. And the other one is, this one's kind of a co-purchase with Sal, because one of her movie loves is shark movies. Anything with a shark in it that eats human beings, she's there. She's going to enjoy it and just run with it. And these we didn't have. We had the first one in the series, but we didn't have the rest. Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and Jaws the Revenge on DVD. I could have hunted around, I suppose, and found Blu-Rays, but I don't think these are the best in the series. I've got the first one on Blu-ray, and rightly so, but these ones on DVD, I'm just going to watch them with her, and we'll enjoy them and see the silliness of them. And it's Jaws 3, the 3D one. Someone let me know, but I'll look it up myself, but just let me know anyway, because I'll get a comment out of it. And yeah, they're going to be a bit of fun, just diving back into that world and that universe. Not going to rewatch the first one because I've seen it a number of times. In fact, about 5 years ago, I saw it in a cinema in Western Australia because Travis Johnson, who is a movie critic working out of Sydney at the moment, and hi Travis, did a film screening of Jaws in a cinema, a small kind of encore cinema in Perth, because he'd never seen it on the big screen. And he sold a bunch of tickets. They had free beer and free cupcakes with shark fins on the top of them, and people just watched Jaws. And it was a nice revisit then, so I don't need to re-watch it quite that soon. I've got so many in the stack of things to watch anyway. But yeah, we're going to enjoy that. Now the last thing is not movie related, but I got to show it anyway because I like it. One of the loves of my childhood and my young adulthood and my mature adulthood has been comic books, particularly Marvel, less so DC. I started out on DC in some Australian editions that were done in black and white, and they were reprints of American DC comics, and then I moved on to Marvel, and I never stopped loving Marvel's output, which is why I'm looking forward to the Shang-Chi movie coming out next year. And it is a Funko Pop, and this one I saw in the shop at JB Hi-Fi and thought, got to get this. And it is Man-Thing, Marvel's Man-Thing. Now, I bought the comics when Mike Plug was doing the artwork for them, and they're great looking comics. I'll actually show you the figure because I'm getting it out of the plastic now, and it's kind of cool. It's a slight bobblehead. It's a bobblehead Man-Thing, which Swamp Thing was kind of based on. I think Man-Thing came out first. I'm going to put up on the screen now whether Man-Thing or Swamp Thing came out first, but I prefer Man-Thing. I think he's got a great look about him. It's a nice little figure, and it's quite heavy too. It's a hefty little bugger. They're usually a lot more hollow than this, but yeah, I kind of like this one, and it goes back to my pop cultural roots in some way, so I'm really going to enjoy playing with that. Well, not playing with it, but displaying it. Yeah, that kind of period of comic book history is my main wheelhouse for my pop cultural references in that realm. So yeah, I like the Man-Thing, and it will find a place of honor on the shelves. So that's about it this time around. I'm going to do my end of year in the next few videos. I'm going to do my 2020 list of feel-good movies because we all need that in this particular era. I'm going to do my best new films I saw in 2020 and the best older films I saw for the first time in 2020. So those lists I'm currently assembling, and I'll record those and upload them on the usual schedule. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Please hit the like button and leave a comment about which ones you liked. And as usual, watch some good movies, watch some bad movies, watch exploitation movies, watch high concept movies. Take care of yourselves. Follow the science. Wear the mask above your nose. And I'll catch you next time.